Yes, I am a Mormon.
Yeah, why'd they change that?
I think it's just because there's so many different ways and the ways it's perceived, and we don't want to be known as like Mormons because Mormon was a prophet in the Book of Mormon, which we believe in, but we're followers of Jesus Christ as members of the Church of Jesus Christ. So.
Right. What was his name? Like Joseph Smith?
Yeah,
something?
Joseph Smith.
And what was the story there? What happened again?
Yeah, so essentially Joseph Smith, he was a young man looking for like the truth in the times like 1820, 1830s area, and he was looking for like the true church, and he couldn't ever find it. And he said a prayer, and then he went to the woods, said a prayer, and then in that moment, Jesus Christ and God revealed themselves to him.
No
Yeah.
Are we sure about that?
I am.
All right.
Takes everybody to earn their own testimony, but and it's kind of controversial too because it's like, when did most people don't have a hard time believing that God and Jesus appeared to this young man, but
sure, I'd look at all of it skeptically, pretty much everything, like all kinds of religions. So I understand that completely. Mm-hmm. But you were born into it.
Yeah, I'm born in Utah. My family was raised in Utah as well, and then also like ancestors were converted to the church and moved to the United States.
Oh, they moved to the United States?
Yeah, I have a grandma from like South Africa.
Oh, wow.
Came all the way to the United States back in like the 1800s, and she was converted in South Africa and made the journey all the way to New York, and then from New York walked all the way to Utah area.
She walked to Utah?
Yeah, like the Mormon history, it's pretty shocking, like what they went through and all the trials that they went through just to keep our religion alive.
I know, but we couldn't get her a bus or something. They went all the way to South Africa to convert her.
Maybe they had some wagon wheels. Maybe I think she like did like a pilgrimage, pretty much.
No shit. And what year was that approximately?
Around like 1890s.
Wait, you said your grandma?
Yeah, like great grandma.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Like my ancestry, goes really back.
All right, so they were in the Wild Wild West. That's different.
Yeah,
I was thinking like this is like 1960 or some.
No.
Like she's walking from New York to Utah. What the?
That'd be a long walk.
Wow, yeah, that'd be a very long walk. But that's interesting. So a bunch of the what's the full name?
Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
That's a lot harder to say.
But you can just say like the Church of Jesus Christ, or you can even say like Mormon Church. I won't be offended.
The Mormon Church, just because like it's easier to say. But like, so they went to South Africa from the United States. They converted your great grandma.
Yeah,
she came over here, and you've been here ever since.
Yep, and then also family from Europe. The church, once it got established, they sent out missionaries to other countries around the world to like preach the restored gospel. And a lot of people were converted, and they essentially moved to the United States.
Right.
A lot of them, and some of them stayed back in their countries and developed the church as well.
Now we're gonna get into what you've been doing on your YouTube channel and across social media today a ton, because it's pretty amazing on the ground documentary work you've done. I mean, you're essentially covering everything from the border itself to the effects that then has on, say, a city like New York. You've done a lot of videos there where a lot of migrants are being sent, and obviously our border and the immigration crisis has been something that has basically been an argument my entire life, so it's not something we've solved. But before we get there, you had an interesting pathway to get to this, because you left... Did I get this right? You left America for about 2 years on a mission to South America, but it was like Chile, right?
I did a mission in Chile in Santiago de Chile for 2 years.
Now, what does that mean? What were you doing?
Yeah, so essentially, like I was telling you how like my ancestors were converted by missionaries back in the day. Today, we still believe in like the preaching of the gospel, and when you graduate high school at 18 as a young man, it's kind of your responsibility. You're not obligated to do it. And you have the option whether or not you want to go. And I actually didn't want to go. And so I waited like a whole year. I told my parents, like, I'm not going, like, I don't want to do this. And over a course of time, like, I had like the feeling and like had a spiritual impressions that led me to make the decision to go to
spiritual impressions?
Yeah. Like, we believe in revelation. Like, I believe in the Holy Ghost, and I believe like there's some feelings that come from God, and like through prayer you can get those certain answers. And so one night I said a prayer because I was like highly debating it whether I wanted to go, and I just felt like I needed to do it. I called our bishop at the time, and like 2 weeks later, the church headquarters, like the prophets and the apostles, they like determine where you go. So I had no idea where I was going to go.
Oh, you don't get to choose.
You don't get to choose. Like my brother went to Arizona. My other brother went to El Salvador on their missions.
One brother only got to go to Arizona. You guys got to go to like fucking South America.
Oh yeah,
It sounds like that's some bullshit right there.
Yeah, he was pretty upset about that. And they called me there, and at first it was really hard. Like you go there all by yourself. You don't know the language. You learn it just as you're there.
Oh, you didn't speak any Spanish?
Very little. I used to take Spanish when I was younger, but a very little Spanish, and so I learned that there, and I learned it in about like 3 months, and then you start teaching and helping people learn more about our church and about Jesus Christ.
Now, how does that work? Like, are you like out on the street with like pamphlets or?
Yeah. So essentially, like, have you ever seen like the guys that are walking around in a white shirt and a tie, like a little plaque on their chest? You ever seen those people around here? Maybe. Yeah. So you walk around. You're with a companion. You go there all by yourself, and then they put you with like companions throughout your whole entire mission. And you go around. You just talk to people, and then you give them like the opportunity to understand like if Joseph Smith really was a prophet, and if the Book of Mormon really is the true word of God as well with the Bible. We also believe in the Bible.
I ask this to everyone with religion who's out there like preaching it and stuff, so it's no different with Mormonism. But isn't it like a little odd that religions need to go out and convince random people that this thing we believe is true, and in order for, I'll put some words in your mouth here, but in order for you to be saved or something like that, you really need to join this? Like, shouldn't it just be people decide what they decide to have peace within their soul for however long they live on this planet, and hopefully use that to treat people well and do their best?
I believe that we come from a God, and that God wants us to return with him. And then today, like the whole thing with our church is that we have evidence that God has restored his church here on the earth. And so, like, I'm not a spokesperson for the church, anything like that, but this is just like my testimony, like what I believe in. And so, as members of the church, it's our kind of responsibility to teach people that God actually did restore his church here on the earth, and that today we also have living prophets, and that we have a prophet, Joseph Smith. He's not alive anymore, obviously, but he restored the church, and then we have evidence of that, which is the Book of Mormon. Because we believe, like, after Jesus Christ was crucified, and after his apostles as well were crucified, and they were not all of them were crucified, but they also eventually died off, right? That same power, that priesthood that Jesus had and his apostles had, essentially like vanished off the earth, because there was so many different churches that came up, that sprouted up. And to have a church, you need to have like the authority of God. You need to have like his like sponsorship, basically.
Right.
And so and that's why there's so many different churches today, because once Jesus died, and all his prophets also eventually died, a lot of like religious rituals started to get changed. For instance, like baptism's different in a lot of different churches. How their priesthood is set up is also different.
Yes.
And certain things like that. And so in order to have like the true church, like I don't believe that God's a person that has like 10 different churches, right? Like he's in every single church, but like I think he would claim one church. Like Jesus was his only begotten son, so he claimed Jesus his only begotten son, and then Jesus went around teaching everybody his word, and so he wouldn't want his word to get mixed up and spread it in 10 different churches, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, in fairness to Joseph Smith, you make a good point back there that there was a separation after the apostles died between any form of religion. Like, I grew up Catholic, right? I'm not a Catholic now. I got a lot of issues with that church. I don't need to get into all that. But, you know, when you look at the roots of, like, Christianity itself, in this case, the Church of Latter-day Saints, is that right?
Yeah, Church of Jesus Christ.
All right. So it was, I want to say it was like 1840, something like that, when Joseph Smith claimed that happened?
Yeah, it's around 1820, 1830s, like when the church really started to get
right. So he believes there's like a divine thing that talked to him and, you know, waited 1,800 years and now created a church. The actual Catholic Church, though, that then ended up bearing off all these different Christian churches over the years, you know, they claimed all their shit at the Council of Nicaea, which was in 300 something AD. I forget the exact year, but it was years after all these guys had died. And I find such issue with the evidence that all the different churches, whether it be, one that's right or the others are wrong, whatever it is, whoever it is, that we have that separation in some way, and then we rely on someone, whether it be through like a divine intervention or through writing out, the codes of the new church at the Council of Nicaea to tell us what the history was and how it exactly went down. Like, do you ever think of it? Like, is there, as someone who's like a brilliant investigator, which you clearly are with your channel, do you ever think about like, okay, would there be evidence or things that I could learn along the way that I would be open to changing my mind? I'm not trying to pressure your religion. I'm just asking like a very hypothetical type question.
No, totally. I totally agree with you. And like I went through that. Like even on my mission, there's times like especially the first few months when you're out on your mission, you're like, is this true? Like, am I walking around every day like really teaching the truth? And that's when like your testimony and like what I was saying, like those spiritual impressions need to come into your lives, and you need to like really pray about things and like realize and see like if stuff is actually true or not. And like I eventually received those spiritual impressions and like that testimony from reading the Book of Mormon, which is like evidence that Joseph Smith restored the church for us. Like some people, obviously people that don't believe in the church don't believe in the Book of Mormon, but like I do, and that's like my evidence that Joseph Smith was a prophet. He wasn't a perfect man by any means. Like if you look at the church history and like if you look at church history, like he might have done some interesting things that people
like what?
Like polygamy, for instance. But if you look at it in different ways, like you can, like I understand like where that comes from now. But if you look at it, if you just hear about it, like Joseph Smith had like I don't know exactly how many wives he had, but like he had 10 wives.
Wait, so that's not a normal thing within Mormonism now?
No, that's why we don't call ourselves Mormons anymore, because there's so many people that relate that stuff to us.
So he was the guy doing that, and then some people did it, and then it died out because people are like, we shouldn't be doing this.
So essentially it happened when he was, after a few years of starting the church, he received revelation that he needed to like take other women to be his wives. And like I believe that was because like in the Book of Mormon and in ancient times as well, like Abraham also had many wives. And so I believe like there's only one scripture in the Book of Mormon that really kind of talks about why there'd be a reason for it. And it was like to bring up seed. And I was thinking, and I think about it as far as like at that period of time, he was trying to start a religion, and to start a religion, you also eventually you need like a good, strong base.
Yeah.
And so if God was able to provide a way where he could help more people understand and create a stronger church, maybe it would be by having other wives, having more kids, bringing up more seed into the church, and then from there, like there it can just keep amassing and getting bigger and bigger.
Right. So because he's the first guy, if he were able to successfully convince some women that, hey, I'm onto something here, and then has several of them, and then could do the dirty, make sure we have more kids. Now they can spread it.
There's also like it took that wasn't just right off the bat that happened. Like that was a few years into the process, and so he was already showing like that he had the church already established, and then to support more people and to help more people, like to build up that base. I believe that was something that God wanted him to do, to raise up seed, and like other men in the church did it as well. And I think there's also like a thing. If you look at religions, it's also interesting. Like us as guys, we're a lot harder to accept things. We're a lot like if someone tells us like, oh, we need to pay our tithing, as men, it's
like that.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to do that. But like I think women are more receptive to doing those certain things based off faith, and us men are kind of like, like I don't want to do that.
That's an interesting.
And so, and so I think there's a lot of men that were also reading the Book of Mormon and stuff, and I even see this on my mission, like a lot more women were more receptive to the gospel versus men. And so I think a lot more women might have been converted at that time period as well. And so there weren't as many faithful men to be husbands to these wives, and to really like raise up seed, I guess. Yeah. And so I think there was like more women that were members of the church than there were men. And So like these women also needed to have husbands that were also in
Right,
the
less
same,
to choose from. Right.
not necessarily less to choose from, but there was like less people to support them in their needs.
Yeah.
I think like nowadays, if you were to raise a house in like a split religion, it could be a lot harder, like as well too.
You think so? Today?
Yeah, I think that's like where a lot of issues come through, like with like children and stuff. Like they're picking sides, like, oh, do I want to follow mom or do I want to follow dad?
Yeah.
And it kind of like causes controversy, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't have kids yet, but I've thought about that a ton. Like there's a few different things I think you think about long before, at least I do, long before you have kids. And like it's difficult because they're so impressionable and you also have your opinions and stuff. And it's natural for us as humans with the people closest to us, especially who are younger, to almost be like, oh, let me teach them this or whatever. But, you know, I don't know what religion my future wife will be or if she'll be religious or not or what she'll think about the afterlife, whatever it is. But I think it'll be really important, personally, in my opinion, for my kids to kind of make their own decisions on stuff. Not to say don't give them moral guidelines and things like that, absolutely. But from an actual meaning of their life standpoint, it sounds like even though you were born into the religion, you did end up having your own journey with it, where you kind of came to your own decision with that. I don't know if some of that was pressured, but it sounds to me like there was some real connection for you. That's a pretty good thing.
Everyone kind of has their own like to it. Like I had a lot of friends that went out on their missions because it's like, oh, if I don't go on my mission, like my parents are gonna get mad. And like there's a lot of kids that go out because they feel pressured, and I didn't want to feel that pressure. And I was like, I'm not going. Like I'm not like, why would I go? Like I believe in it, but I don't know for certainty. And once I eventually did know for certainty, that I was like, I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
And I was like, the missions are for 2 years, and I told myself I will go out for 6 months. If I don't like it after 6 months, I will come home.
Oh, you can leave.
You can, but like if you come home early from your mission, like you're kind of like looked upon like, oh, you must have done something before your mission that made you unworthy to be out there. Because you also have to be worthy to preach the gospel.
So you were saying you were out there, though, essentially the mission is to be out there on the street trying to convert people to the religion. But were there things that really, like, what was that experience like? Did you come back extremely changed from it, even just from the perspective of being in such a faraway place in a totally different culture?
It changed how I view life and how I look at a lot of things. And then also spiritually, it changed me as well, as far as like my beliefs. Like before, if you would have told me certain things about the church, I might have doubted you, or I would have like let major doubts get into my head. But now that I have like a testimony for certainty, that I know these things are true, like, yeah, stuff might become, people might say certain things about the church, but at the end of the day, like my testimony remains the same. And now I have like these principles and what I think about. And then now today it's helped me so much, especially what I'm doing now with a lot of the migrant stuff that's going on. I learned Spanish. I met migrants, and I realized like what's actually happening with the migrant situation. I didn't realize like people are leaving Venezuela, walking thousands of miles in hopes of a better life. And like I didn't realize like all that human suffering that happens here in the world, because we live in the United States and we don't really see that stuff, right?
We don't see it. That's right.
And especially if you are born in a normal household and you live a pretty chill life, you never have to see any of that sort of stuff. And then you go out there and you realize like, wow, like we as humans are literally surviving. Like we're not animals, but in a way we are, because like if you go out to, there's a reason why they call New York City the concrete jungle, because every single day you are trying to survive, like in certain aspects of life. And so the mission really helped me realize like, wow, like this is really important. And then it really made me also realize like it's so important to believe in God and to like have like even if you aren't a member of the church, or even if you don't believe in God, like it's so important to have like a role model you look up to and a set of values that you follow.
Guys, if you're still watching this video and you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, please take 2 seconds and go hit it right now. Thank you. Were you down there with other missionaries as well?
Yeah, I didn't know any of them though. You just are sent there,
right?
And you just meet
how many of you?
In my mission, there was like around like 200 missionaries.
Holy shit! Okay, so there's a lot of you.
Yeah, there's a lot of us, and then there's also like that's only like one mission in Chile, and so there's missions in every single, not every single country in the world, because some countries don't permit missionaries. Like I know in China, like there's restrictions, like there's still missionaries.
That wasn't surprising. I knew that was going to be first.
China, and then like in Russia, you also can't. Like if I was a missionary there, I don't think I could walk around with a badge, and I couldn't like try to solicitate my message. Like, you
Right.
have to become friends, and like by that, you would have to like do it.
You got to make a YouTube video of you soliciting Vladimir Putin to join the church. That would do real views.
I don't know if I want to get off. I'm not ready for that yet.
But when you were down there, like, did you make good relationships? Even, you know, not necessarily with people you converted, but make good relationships with people in the local population and learn a lot about the culture too?
Oh yeah, you're totally immersed into it. You're like, you depend on them to help you survive when you're there as well. Like all the members there, like lunches. Like, I had never bought a lunch when I was on my mission, except for the day that we had free, because the members there or other people would like offer you lunch and they want you to come over to the house.
Oh, wow.
It's like the members of the church would be like, oh yeah, we'll sign up for the Give Missionaries lunch that day.
And were you guys like all staying in the same place or all spread around?
So it's you and your companion, and sometimes like another companionship, and you live like an apartment.
Okay. So 2 full years there. Did you successfully convert some people too?
Oh yeah.
And oh yeah. And how many are we talking?
My like first year, like it's really hard to do, and then like especially when you're learning a different language, and it's all like by spirit. Like, you never want to convert somebody to convert them, but I mean, I was a pretty good missionary. I think like I had the record of my mission.
You had the record
For that time period after COVID.
Wow.
Because,
so like a lot of people.
Yeah, it was around like 25-ish. But my first year I only had
good
5.
numbers right there.
Yeah, but the numbers part doesn't matter. Like, you don't go on a mission like with a goal. Like, eventually I just like got like so good at talking with people and like giving them like what helped me and sharing my testimony and like helping them read the Book of Mormon. Like, you should read the Book of Mormon. I think everybody should read the Book of Mormon. It's awesome.
I never have, but
Yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
It's pretty crazy, especially if you want to talk about like the story of Joseph Smith and how it was translated.
Yeah.
Like, most people are like, oh, Joseph Smith wrote this book, but he literally translated the Book of Mormon in 90 days, and there's only one version of it.
Wait, what do you mean he translated it?
Yeah, so the Book of Mormon's a story of the people here in ancient America, because when like there wasn't just people over there where the Bible was written, as like where Moses.
Oh
was
yeah,
at, and,
yeah.
And so here on the Americas, there was also people, and they were also receiving revelations. There was also prophets, and those books and their stories were written on like on golden plates, or essentially just plates, and through time those books were passed over. Then eventually it was received by a man named Mormon, and then Mormon compiled all the books together in like chronological order, and then that book was then put into like a hill in upstate New York. And then Joseph Smith, after he had that revelation of seeing God, or that vision of seeing God and the Father, Jesus Christ and the Father, a few years after that, he was then visited by another angel named Moroni. Moroni visited him various times over the course of a few years. And then he was guided to the plates, and then he took those plates back, and he's also given an instrument.
Was Joseph out in Utah?
No.
He wasn't.
No, he's all up here in upstate New York.
So he was in New York too.
Yeah, okay. In upstate New York. And then he received these plates, and then he was given we believe is called the Urim and Thummim, and that he used that to translate the Book of Mormon.
Okay, so when you say, just like approximations here though, because that's interesting. Some of that I really didn't know. But when you say like the ancient Americans and they wrote things on tablets, how far back are we talking? Like 10,000 years? Like before Jesus?
So the Book of Mormon starts 600 years before Christ, before he even comes.
Very interesting. Okay.
600 years before he comes, and then ends 400 years after Jesus comes and after he's born.
So like short ballpark idea, what is the 600 years of history before him? Is it similar to some of the later Old Testament type stuff, or is it entirely different?
Like you'll never find anything in the Book of Mormon that contradicts the Bible, because they're all being taught by the same person. All the same prophets are getting taught by the same God. And so
understood.
If
okay.
if he's telling Moses something, he's also going to be telling the people here in Americas. But the Book of Mormon starts in Jerusalem, and then a prophet left Jerusalem, came to the Americas, raised his family here. And then that same prophet had a son named Nephi, and then Nephi had kids as well, and like the lineage kind of goes down, and there's a separation in lineage in the Book of Mormon, and then there's also So it's kind of crazy.
Gotcha. So,
But it starts in Jerusalem, comes to America, and they talk about like even like being guided to like what we believe is the promised land,
which
which was like the Americas. Like they were guided to the
so
promised
that's
land.
where it
Like that's what they
diverts.
call this, like the promised land. Like
That's where it really diverts. That's where the story is different.
yeah, because the prophet, his name was Lehi, and his family, and he had a son named Nephi, and Lehi, the dad, was told like, you guys need to leave Jerusalem. It's gonna be destroyed, and then they leave, and then later Jerusalem is actually destroyed. I believe it is Jerusalem, and then they leave in a few hundred years, or I can't give you the exact number, maybe like 50 years after they leave, it's eventually destroyed, and then they're in America and they start.
But you were saying the church recognizes that all these different prophets were taught by the same God.
Yeah,
right.
like
So there, and it was just interesting. I didn't expect you to say that the Mormon church, I'm going to misstate exactly how you said it. You said it better than I'm going to, but the Mormon church doesn't divert with the Bible or something like that.
Yeah,
like
we believe in the Bible.
Right. So if it's the same though, what makes it different from like one of the other regular Christianity religions, other than there's something to do with the Americas in there?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So essentially, the Book of Mormon, if you read the side of it, it just says another testament of Jesus Christ, and so like they say, like his word will be established by 2 or 3 voices, and this is just another testament. And so it's just evidence that nowadays we have like his legit church here on the earth. And that's why you see so many different churches. And if you go walk around these streets, you'll see different churches, and they all have like some differences in what they believe, but they're all using the Bible. And essentially, if the Bible was 100% correct nowadays, we wouldn't have 1,000 different churches. And so what the Book of Mormon did was it reconfirmed all the teachings in the Bible and showed that today Joseph Smith was called as a prophet because he literally like translated those pages in the Book of Mormon.
Do you think that within the religious context belief of like heaven and hell, do you think that people who are not Mormons can go to heaven? Or I always ask this of the different religions.
Yeah, everyone's going to have a chance to go to heaven. Like God loves everybody infinitely. Like you're going to have the same chances I have, and so will anybody else in this room. And like God's not going to like leave any of his kids behind, and so he's going to help everybody, and there's like a process. But like now, as I'm a member of the church, one of my obligations or one of my duties is to help people learn more about that stuff while I'm here on the earth. And there's going to be a chance to learn after you die as well.
I like that answer.
And so like here on earth, I like have like the certainty if I follow the commandments, and I follow any of the other revelations that have been given to the modern day prophets. Like if I follow that, like I'll have the certainty that I'll be able to live with God and Jesus Christ again.
If somehow later in your life it were like proven that I don't know how it would be proven, but it were proven that, say, Christianity as a religion is like not exactly what it was. Do you think that the morals with which you live your life to treat other people well and do work for some creator that had to start all this, I do believe in that, right? Do you think that will be enough to make it all worth it? Or do you think that would be a crisis of meaning because you'd think like, oh my God, was it a lie?
I'll still be happy I did it. I won't regret it. Like either way, like I'm still living. Like me and you, we aren't different other than maybe I follow some different like commandments, right?
Right.
And so essentially, if I live my life the way I'm doing it right now, I don't feel like I'm being restricted by any means. And like, if anything, it's enhancing my happiness because I don't have to worry about certain things if I follow the commandments. Like I think a lot of the times when you see society separate from God is when you see all this chaos happening. And like my moral compass is follow my own moral compass, and I don't get too straight off there. Like I'm not saying you won't see me go do something crazy, but you're not going to see me do something like where I drink so much alcohol and then I go have sex with a chick and I have a baby. Like you're never going to see that from me.
Never?
Never.
Not even in New York?
Never. Not even in New York. Not even if a Wall Street girl comes up to me, you know?
I believe you.
But so like there's certain aspects of my life I'm not going to have to worry about. Like I see like since I've been doing some of these YouTube videos, I see so many kids that don't have a mom or a dad. They're missing one of them. Like
yes,
my goal is to eventually get married and like raise a family with like one person and not have to worry about those like not have to worry about having like a split household.
I think that's a great goal. I
And
think that's a huge issue in the country for sure.
if you look at like most of the issues here in the world are from people not following like commandments, like they fall into a lot of temptations.
Yeah.
And so like my moral compass is going to help me, and the rules I abide by in my religion is going to help me so I don't fall into those things.
That's great, man.
And so like
that's a great answer.
yeah, and so it's interesting. And I think if more people did follow God, like I really want to like make a video like what happens to society like when they stop believing in God. And you're seeing it more and more every single day. Like if you go to California, for instance, like I personally, like I lived there in California when I was like on this journey of becoming a YouTuber, and like I felt like there was so much power of the devil in that place. I had to get out.
Power of the devil. What? How do you figure?
Yeah, because like I was telling you how I like sometimes like I can feel the spirit, and so can you. Like maybe you're even feeling it while we're talking about this certain stuff because it's like a different feeling. But then like when you don't have the spirit with you, because I was baptized and you receive the gift of the Holy Ghost, right? And so like the gift of the Holy Ghost is like supposed to help you navigate life in a little bit, right? It's not 100, like you're never gonna be 100% in line with it. But,
Yeah.
So like for instance, like in LA, like I would go to these parties, and at these parties there would be one guy about 50 years old, 6 girls sitting around him.
Is his name Diddy?
Maybe no, I wasn't Diddy, but you'd see like
Oh, it
these
would have been
things.
6 dudes, I guess, but either way.
Yeah. So like you see these things and you're like, what the freak is going on? And like none of that's by God. It's
No.
all by the devil. And you see, I remember going to this one party. We were there. This one guy, he's like the king of all these like influencers, pretty much. Like all these influencers at a house, he helps them do certain things. And
Is this who I think it is? All fair. Go ahead. Keep going.
So I'm at this house. There's all these people like that I love watching on YouTube, and they're there as well. And on the ground, there's just like whippets. I didn't even know those were a thing. There's just whippets everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Cocaine on the ping pong table. But
Nice.
this guy and like drugs, alcohol everywhere. Everyone's drunk. And like me, I just like felt like this place is like horrible. And then all these fake relationships, these girls are only around this 50-year-old man because he has the house in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
And all these guys with millions of followers are only there because he's able to maybe give them a brand deal, or able to facilitate them to get more followers, or to help them start X, Y, and Z. And so like none of that's by God. And it's just all manipulation, like tactics of God. Or tactics of the devil, my bad.
I think, and depending on how you look at it from a religious standpoint or just like moral or immoral, I think you have a point for sure. And I haven't spent time out in LA, but know a lot of people who have. Certainly there's some good stuff out there, but you see a lot of people who are worshiping things that are not God. And by that, I mean, money, fame, and with it, power. And these are the types of things that do get normalized. And yeah, I think I would have, like, I enjoy a good party, right? But do I think I would have fun living for 3 years in some fake content creating den with everyone fucking sitting there doing drugs and getting STDs? Probably not.
Yeah, and then at the end of the day, these kids aren't, like, the kids that were doing it aren't even happy. And so there's like, you'd like see, especially I just see this in general because like I'm always sober. Yeah, like I see when like people take large sums of alcohol and they start getting drunk, like the conversations don't even matter when someone starts getting drunk. I believe like when someone starts talking to me and they're intoxicated, it's just like, okay, you're probably not gonna remember this, and neither one of us are gonna benefit.
Have you ever drank?
Never.
Never. So you've never had anything.
That's like,
yeah, I don't think you're wrong about that, by the way. But
yeah, and like there's like people that do it, not in the church, but like everyone, like if you say I were to drink, like it wouldn't be the end of the world. I would like repent, and then I would like never do it. Like I wouldn't want to do it again.
Oh, you should have to repent for it. For having a drink.
Yeah, and so I'd repent for it, but like I don't want to do it, and so yeah, I don't know.
Good for you. Yeah, it's not. I mean,
Oh, I also made like a handshake with my grandpa when I was like 16. That I would like never drink.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like me and him were just hanging out, and I was like, we were just talking about something, and I was like, I never want to drink, and so I respect my grandpa a ton, and we shook our hands, and for that reason, I'll never drink, even
Yeah,
if I do leave the church.
I mean, alcohol is a
Which it won't
drug,
happen, but-
so I don't think it's like, I always think it's kind of weird when people are like, you have to do something. Like, if you want to do it, great. If you don't, great. But you do make a good point. When people I think there's a nice little spot right there where you're a little buzzed, where you can have some great conversations. But when people get here, when I get there, shit, we're just fucking around. There's nothing happening.
Yeah,
There's nothing. No.
There's nothing going on.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but yeah, I always find that really funny. Like, not necessarily funny, but I like a little comical when people start getting like making complete fools of themselves. I'm like, you're gonna see this tomorrow on a screen and you won't even realize it happened until you see yourself on that screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when they're like making content with that stuff. It's always tough. But you were saying you ended up out there. Was this? I was trying to put the timeline together. Was this before you went on the mission? You were out in LA, or was this
before?
This was before.
Like in that time period where I told my parents and I told everybody that's around me, like, I'm not going on a mission. I was doing YouTube, and so like,
what were you doing specifically?
I was doing more like pranks and stuff, and like doing like the LA. Like, I thought you had to move to LA essentially to build a YouTube channel, because like that was the realm of content I was in. And so, I mean, I went out there. I made a ton of connections. I made it like one of my best friends is somebody I still speak that I met when I was out there, and so like actually helped me a lot to go around. And I met a lot of people, learned a ton, and now a lot of the success that I'm seeing from my YouTube channel is because of that time I spent in LA and in the year before.
Like learning how to create the content.
Yeah, learning how to create content, thumbnails, how things work. Like just being around. Like even if I'm around you, I'm gonna learn something about podcasting or
sure.
And so I think now more than ever, it's essential for people to learn how to make videos, because even if you start a coffee shop, someone has to make content for that coffee shop in order to bring in traffic. So even like say I stopped doing YouTube, I'm still gonna have to make videos, whether I'm doing my own business, whether have any sort of business, because I don't think I'm ever gonna work for anybody.
That's a good goal. I like that.
So I'm still gonna have to make videos.
Yeah.
And so like what I'm learning now, I'll apply for the rest of my life.
How old were you when you went out to LA?
18.
Oh, so you were right away. Right after high school.
Mm-hmm. And I went out with a kid that like I was friends with, but I didn't really know that well. And I thought he'd help me all along the process, but he was a great guy. Like I love the kid to death, but he also like fell into like certain things and got into the wrong groups, and like he faced those consequences, and because of what he like at those parties and stuff, like he probably made a lot of decisions he wishes he didn't do.
Yeah, that point, by the way, that you made, I don't want to get lost on that. You're making a good point about when society like diverges from God, and there's some bad things happen when you look at history. This is always a tough one for me, because I think you're right. I can actually kind of prove that. Like I can prove you're right, but also we can never live like in the middle in a nice happy area. What ends up happening is society over time is often like a pendulum. People move far away from a god or some higher being to give them meaning in life, and they start fucking around and doing stupid shit, and society loses morals. And then the pendulum swings back to where everyone believes in, it ends up forming around usually one thing. And then there's pressure that like, no, this is what it is, this is what you do. And there ends up being forms of totalitarianism and wars and things like that. Both sides cause that, both situations. I just want to live in a world where the pendulum sits right there and people can make their own decisions on things, have a moral compass within society, some expectations for each other, live in relative peace and happiness with everyone else, and choose what religions you're in, but have it separated from the state that you're in.
And do you think that's what America is supposed to be?
Yes.
Like, the whole entire founding of America is like everyone has the right to choose.
That's right.
And the right, like the freedom of religion.
That's right. When I hear people talk about inject religion into the American founding, not even the Constitution, into the founding, that's a telltale sign for me that they haven't studied history. When I hear that, I know that they haven't studied it, because they don't know what the founding fathers believed. A lot of these guys, like I'll revert to Ben Franklin, who was one of the three key guys there. You got Washington, and then probably after him was Franklin as far as most influential. He believed in God. and he believed that you had to try to do good here on earth and be good to people and be agreeable. You know, obviously he had his principles and stuff. And he was still a flawed guy, still did some things that were wrong in his life, of course, he's human. But, you know, he thought organized religion was more on, he thought it was a little silly. Like, he's like, I don't know how we could know some of those things. It's just not really for me. And yet he lived his life in a godly way because he knew he was still a human, a little speck on this earth that was sent here by someone. I really like that. There's a lot of people within the Founding Fathers who had that. Then you had other people like John Adams who were very strict religious, right? So those existed as well. But they did end up writing into the Constitution separation between church and state. I think the downside to that is that, yes, I completely agree with that. Love that stipulation. People can eventually make the state their God, though, in that way, right? And I think we've seen that throughout United States history when things get a little rough. People are looking to the government to solve all their issues, like, oh, that's why we exist. And that's not good either. So I call it both ways with that. It's a very tough thing with human psychology because people have a tendency to go hard one way or hard the other, at least the people who are going to have the loudest opinions. And it takes away some of the nuance there. And I live more in the nuance with it.
Yeah, I think it's important, like what you're saying, as far as like how the Constitution and like all that stuff was brought about. Like this nation was brought about by God. Like it's this one nation under God.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, they did put stuff like that in there.
And they put stuff like that in there. And so now when you see people diverge from even if you want to call it like a supreme power, like people just don't have role models and like good role models to follow. I think that's essentially what God is for a lot of people and what they were meaning by that. Like, let's follow like a good role model and let's live our life how our God would want us to live.
Right.
And so when people divert from that and they start going towards extreme ideas, like it doesn't matter what we do tonight because we can celebrate for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
That YOLO lifestyle.
Yeah. And part of it too, like, I feel a little better about some things when it's like young people in it. You know, you kind of gotta figure things out in the world. You gotta do some stupid shit sometimes. Sometimes you gotta be around things that 5 years later you're like, wow, that was really dumb. But when you give the example of, you know, the 50-year-old guy with 5 20-year-old chicks basically taking turns on his knob, like that's, you know,
and
that's different.
Then that guy, he walks away from those girls and he's not even happy.
Exactly.
He has everything but nothing at the same time.
You ever been to a strip club?
Yeah, I went once, but like I was 17, I thought like when you would go, like there'd be like a door to like stop because we were just like, we were just taking one of our friends in and we thought it'd be funny to like walk him in, and I thought there was gonna be like a door to stop it from seeing people. I thought there was gonna be like, okay, you pay here and then.
Oh, like a peep show. No.
Yeah.
No, they're right there.
No, it was like we walked in. I was in there for like 5 seconds and like I feel like crap and got out.
Yeah.
And then my one friend went in. But
yeah, I'm
but
not...
I was like, I can't do this. Like I thought this was not what I thought it was gonna be. Like I didn't want to see that. And it's a great story. Like for that same reason, I'm not gonna tell you I didn't go, even if it's like
sure
might make me look bad. But
it doesn't make you look bad. It's fine. But I'm saying, like, you know, I very rarely go to one. It's usually when it's like a guy's weekend or something and someone wants to go. Okay, we'll go, you know. Nice view. But I got to tell you, the thing I end up doing in there more than anything, because, you know, obviously strippers don't really love you. So,
no.
You know, I'm not really wasting my time with that. But, you know, I will people watch the dudes in there who you can tell have money, the ones that have money especially, and are in there all the time. You can spot it in 2 seconds because the girls are coming to them. There's a certain vibe they have that's like, been here before, do this all the time. This is a Tuesday for me. And to your point, they are the most miserable looking son of bitches I've ever seen in my life. Doesn't matter how good their Rolex look, how good their chain might look, what kind of clothes they're wearing, how in shape they might be. They look totally dead to the world. I've never seen one that doesn't.
It's sad.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that does go to show you something. People, it's like we worship these things that are, the way you might put it, is like ungodly. And then you get them and you're like, oh, that's all it is. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. This isn't doing it.
It's like
for
people
me.
that live for the weekend.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. Oh, your 2 days are awesome.
Yeah.
other 5 suck.
That should never be how it is, man. You got to find your passions.
Yeah, I don't even know if we're in the weekend or if we're in the weekday right
Me
now.
too, man. I always got to ask Alessi, what day is it today? You know, it's like we're doing things. It's stressful, you know, building channels and stuff, as you know, but like we're doing things that we love, right? There's some hard parts that we don't like when we got to do it, but we get to work for ourselves and we get to go create things, and you know, we're in that mode where we're trying to chase it to get to the point where we're good and we can do this stress free for many years.
Exactly, and then we meet people like me and you, or you talk to other people, and then you see the success stories.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, well, I can't stop now. And then kind of just like that's why I never stopped doing YouTube, because I knew what could happen if you can actually make it. And I haven't made it by any means. Yeah, like there. Next year I could not even be uploading. Like you never know. Like I'll probably still be uploading, but I might not be getting views.
Well, you're growing like a weed right now, and the reason is when you got back from your missionary trip and resumed YouTube, you changed the content. We hinted at this earlier, but you changed from doing like the prank videos and stuff like that to becoming a journalist and covering specifically, like when you look through your channel, the heaviest stuff you're covering has to do in one way or another with the border crisis, which has pretty much been a crisis like my whole life. Like this shit's kind of crazy. But what got you into that? What like you had said, I think when you were on the missionary trip, that you were finding out that some people were traveling thousands of miles to get there. So the human interest part was obviously something. But like when you got back, is that the only thing that drove you to go investigate this, or were there other factors that you were learning about that you wanted to see for yourself?
I always knew I was going to keep doing YouTube, and when I was on my mission, I like one day I set apart time, and I wrote down exactly what I was going to do and how I was going to get 100K subscribers, what kind of content I was going to niche myself in. And it was in this kind of journalism. I didn't even refer to it as journalism at the time, because it's just like making YouTube videos on more serious topics for me. But now people are calling me like a journalist, which call me it like it's cool. And,
yeah, I think that's fair.
So I knew I was going to make videos on more serious topics. I didn't want to do those prank videos. I didn't want to have to work on a huge project, because essentially if you do prank videos and make videos like Mr. Beast every single week, you are reinventing yourself and making like a new business.
Yeah, it's hard.
Every single week. And so I knew I didn't want to do that, and I want to niche myself out and start doing like these kind of like investigation videos and start going to different places around the world and sharing stories. And then once I came back to the United States, I wasn't even planning on making videos on the migrants. I didn't really know too much about what was happening in the United States. And then I came home, my mom, who's also in my videos, was really into the migrant situation. Like,
what got her into it?
So back in 2020, I was watching a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I saw like all these weird things going on with like the governments and like the people of power. And I would always tell my mom what I believed in, and she'd never believe me. Then I saw that Donald Trump was going to have like the biggest rally ever. January 6th. And so I was like, I'm going, Mom. And she's like, you're not going unless I'm going. I'm like, she's like, it's too dangerous. I'm like, all right, well, come then, I guess, if you want to come. I brought her.
You went?
Yeah, I was
You
there.
were there?
I was there I was there. I didn't go on the side of the building, but I was there. I was front row. I was next to like Alex Jones. Like I saw him come right through, get escorted through. Like I was front row. I snuck all the way up to front row. People were waiting all night. I pulled up in a construction vest and walked right up the front row.
with a ladder?
Yep, not with a ladder. With an earpiece in. I looked like I was on phone calls. I was like talking to people, put my hand in my ear.
Oh my God. So what happened that day? Like where, you obviously didn't go in. Have you been questioned since then?
No, I also like fled the country and went to South America a few months after. So.
But are you worried after you got back you might get questioned?
Maybe now that we're talking about it. It felt like a movie. That was like the craziest thing ever. Like the scenery was insane. I'm in like the front row where public, and then there's like a VIP section where like the Alex Joneses and like Donald Trump's family was at.
Yeah.
Donald Trump speaking. The clouds around us are just dark and gloomy, and right behind us is the White House, and Donald Trump's up there, just you know how he is, talking like this and moving his hands and getting everybody fired up. Everyone was just like, let's go! Like, everybody was so excited and, like, not necessarily so excited, but so enraged with what was going on. And so then he leaves. He gives a speech, he leaves, and the whole idea is, like, everyone's going to march down the Capitol. And
when did that, like, were people saying that in the streets, like, we're going to go to the Capitol?
Yeah, I think that was like the idea is like to make like the whole. I think wasn't like the whole purpose of the of the uh of his rally to like get people to like wasn't it
Yeah,
to
he
get people
wanted
to
to
protest?
overturn the election.
Yeah,
Right.
to like show like it wasn't supposed to be what it was supposed to be. And if you look into it, there's so many like weird things like people opening up doors, people opening
Oh
up
yeah,
gates.
yeah.
Um,
Definitely a weird day for
it's a
sure.
it's a sensitive topic on the internet, so you can't really like say too much about it. But yeah, so we go like it literally felt like a movie. And he finishes his talk. I go to the Capitol building. My mom was too afraid, so she went back. She like stayed far away from a distance, kind of just watching. And I was like, "Mom, go back to the hotel, whatever. Like, I don't want you to be here, essentially, because I don't know what was gonna happen." And she went back, and she was kind of like made her way back very slowly to the hotel room. Then she got back on she got into the hotel room. She started looking at the news, and she's like, "This is not what's happening." Because at the protest, like it was peaceful, and everyone was so like showing so much American spirit at the protest when Trump was talking. And the only part that got shown that was bad was the people breaking in. Those people, I don't even believe were the true MAGA people out there. Like there's like now you're seeing it today with like all the protests that are happening. Like there's people at these pro-Palestinian protests who are not for Palestine. They're just
Oh,
there to cause
100%.
havoc.
Yes.
And so those people were the ones that are busting into the building. Those a lot,
Well,
the grand majority of them.
there were some that were not though.
Yeah, there were
I'm
some that
not
were not as
arguing that
well.
there was some weird shit going on, but there were absolutely people trying to get in there who were there for the event. Now, if you want to say some of them were following the example of people who were just there to cause havoc for their own fame or whatever, all right, I could see that, but. I don't think it was the best and brightest right at the door breaking in.
No, by any means, like that shouldn't have happened. But like where I was at, people were singing like the national anthem. They were singing like it felt very patriotic.
How close did you get?
Like I was on like the scaffold building, like where they had the
Yeah,
bleachers
yeah.
set up. I was up there. I was like right next. Like I saw the people like putting like a hammer into the window.
Whoa.
And I met the guy. I was the first person to speak with. His name's Big O, the guy that broke into Nancy Pelosi's office. I was the first person to speak with him after he came out. He had the letter with his blood on next to the name of Nancy Pelosi.
Did you have a camera?
Yeah, I uploaded it.
Okay, so you did upload that.
I uploaded it, but
So you're
at that
there
time you couldn't even
in
put
that
Trump
capacity.
into. Yeah, at that time you couldn't even put Trump into a YouTube title without it getting demonetized, though.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, it was a crazy time. Crazy time. So how did you get out of there? Like when did you know like, oh, this is going south. We got to go.
It never where I was at from what I was seeing, like it never got too crazy other than the people breaking in. Like I felt completely safe. Like I'm not sure if you've ever been to like a Trump rally or if you've ever been like around
Nope.
those people. Like dude, they're just Americans to the core. Like they are like fighting and they believe in everything that the Constitution stands for. And like I don't get scared around those group of people because most of them are also very Christian. They're very like American. Like they've like if you go to Texas or like Tennessee, like you see those people and they're like gun ho Americans. And so you never felt scared. I never felt scared because a lot of people around there were gun ho Americans, a lot of people from the military, and there were like people like bashing it out on the streets that were fighting with the police officers. And that was like kind of like, okay, I should probably leave when I started seeing people like with blood come down their face.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I got all the content I need. and we walked down the street and people are getting like mazed, and so it's probably time to go.
It definitely it got crazy, and it's been a very interesting litigation since then. And there's the whole thing is just very. I'm ready for that to not ever be a thing we talk about again. I understand why some people do, but we've seen people take advantage of it, and we've seen that. I don't think it should ever happen in the first place, because I always said I didn't have any sympathy for Trump for what happened to him that day, because I'm like, you were stupid enough to fucking plan an event where you're gonna have a bunch of angry people at the goddamn like in DC where you're telling them that like the election wasn't real. Like what could possibly go wrong and what could my enemies possibly use against me for this? Like it's so stupid that like
And then at that same time, Mike Pence came out against Trump at that same day.
yeah,
And so it was just like a
telling.
perfect
Yes, and that was very
equation for chaos.
because like Mike Pence is like the God-fearing, Bible-thumping, right of the right wing kind of guy, and he was like, nah, this is bullshit. Like we got to stop this, and that was a shame when that happened for sure. But the reporting of the day obviously has been very controlled in the media, and I don't like that. That's wrong. That should not happen.
Yeah, so and going back to your point, like essentially my mom saw that, like she was there, felt peaceful, and she goes back to the hotel. She sees like the news, and she's like, they're not reporting on what's actually going on, and then.
But she's also, in fairness though to your mom, she's also not there. She's at the hotel at that point.
She marched all the way down to the Capitol building, and then I was like, all right, Mom, go. Like, I don't want you here. And so she saw like what was going on to a certain extent, and then.
How much longer was it going on after she left?
I mean, it went on, like, even after I left, it still kept going on for like a few hours probably.
Yeah.
But she saw like the
beginning of it.
The beginning of it, and like the cool thing about that. The cool thing about that protest was like before Trump had the speech and before Trump even came on stage, like you got like a huge sense of like patriotism. Is that the word, right? Like,
yeah.
And so you felt like that around you. You're like, wow, like all these people are like if you go to a Trump rally, you're going to meet like a lot of great people and that are just want to fight for like their values and what they believe in. And so she saw all that and she like felt like the sense of camaraderie and like what was going on, and then once the Capitol riot started to happen, like things started to get twisted. But her point of view was like, well, you saw this before, it's like completely peaceful, and then what the news is reporting is just on the crazy chaos that's actually happening. Yeah,
it's such a fascinating case study we're in the middle of right now psychologically, but I wish we could live in a country where we had different opinions and then we didn't have things as far as people's beliefs politicize who they are as an American, right? And I think the left and right are both to blame for these kinds of things. But for example, now when you see someone who calls themselves a patriot, or you see someone who has 6 American flags out the back of their car, you know exactly who they are. You know every single issue, what they're going to tell you, even if they don't believe in some of them because they care about the top 3 things they believe in, and this party believes in that. When you see the people who, aren't doing those things, you start to go, oh, okay, that might be the other side right there. I don't like that identifying. I don't like the whole, we're here with this candidate because we're goddamn Americans or whatever. I understand that's a part of it, but I think that stuff is what's dividing us, and I think it's dividing us in the sense that the establishment has the biggest part to blame because they look at those people who are at rallies like that and they say, you don't matter. Your voice doesn't matter. You're all idiots. I don't think that's good at all. I think that's a horrible thing, and I think it's just driving people like that lack of trust with the establishment that is 100% fair. It's only continuing to wedge that divide, and sometimes it feels like that's by design.
Yeah, essentially Donald Trump has made like a ginormous team.
Yeah.
With the MAGA. Mm-hmm. And I don't think there's like been any other president that has had such a following like that.
Yeah, he is definitely the greatest entertainer to ever run for office.
Trump is a savage. Like he's a savage.
Listen, he is. You can say a lot of things about the guy, and I'm not a fan, but I'm certainly not a fan of Biden either. I think our options are fucking disgusting. But Trump is a machine. He will keep going. He does not give a fuck. And in that respect, yeah, he's a savage. I just wish that like we could put aside the political pitchforks that have been out for him, and then that he then responds to, because it's bad. I mean, you see these bullshit cases that are being brought against him, and that's what they're bullshit cases. Mm-hmm. Like this is a disgrace. These cases they're being brought against him. Meaning the people who supposedly don't fucking like him, are making him a martyr. They are putting him into office. Okay, you don't like Donald Trump. First of all, give me a better option than Joe Biden to run against him. That's number one. Number two, do you see what you're doing? You are making people not trust the system more. When you have a judge who's fucking donating to Joe Biden, I don't care how little money it was, he donated to him. You got a city that certainly is politically, at least in their power structures, on the opposite end of Donald Trump. And yet you have all these people in government who are doing corrupt shit out in the open, Republicans and Democrats, buying stocks on insider trades openly in front of everyone else. We're not prosecuting that, but we're going to go prosecute a guy for paying some money to a fucking porn star or what? Like, come on, dude. Hey guys, if you have a second, please be sure to share this episode around on social media and with your friends, whether it's Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, doesn't matter. It's all a huge help. It gets new eyeballs on the show, and it allows us to grow and survive. So thank you to all of you who have already been doing that, and thank you to all of you who are going to do so now. It's ridiculous.
And like all that stuff happened like years ago too. They're bringing up all this stuff, and
they're
it's like
bringing it up to try to stop them, and it's like you're
working
doing the
against
opposite.
them.
Yes,
they're just dividing people even more. And I mean, he literally raised. Did you see the number? I think it was either $300 or $500 million since that happened.
It wasn't that much. It was the first 48 hours. He raised 52 million. Can we check that?
But
Unless he was first 24,
now it's
48.
up to 300.
It's 300.
Now it's
it
300.
got up to 300.
Yeah,
Wow.
and so that's gonna work against them, and we'll see if he.
Oh
it.
yeah, because Miriam Adelson alone gave him $100 million. Yeah, he got some big That's right. He got some big donors to come in. Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.